the git commands I run before reading any code. So this is a quite interesting article about how to get some insight into a code base before you even look at the code. 5 git commands that tell you where a code base hurts before you open a single file. Churn hotspots, bus factor, bug clusters, and crisis patterns. And here we have them in just a short form here. The first thing I usually do when I pick up a new code base isn't opening the code, it's opening a terminal and running a handful of git commands. Before I look at a single file, the commit history gives me a diagnostic picture of the project, who built it, where the problems cluster, whether the team is shipping with confidence or tiptoeing around the landmines. So one thing he looks at is what changes the most. So he uses this command for that, and it tells you the 20 most changed files in the last year. The file at the top is almost always the one people warn me about. Oh yeah, that file, everyone's afraid to touch it. So I think that's smart. Yeah, what changes the most? Who built this? So here we have a short command for that. Every contributor ranked by commit count. If one person accounts for 60% or more, that's your bus factor. If they left 6 months ago, it's a crisis. If the top contributor from the overall short log doesn't appear in a 6-month window, I flag that to the client immediately. I also look at the tail, 30 contributors, but only 3 active in the last year. The people who built the system aren't the people maintaining it. Yeah, I think it sounds interesting. I don't know if this gives really the whole truth. Like it says, like an older software, yeah, the original people are probably not around anymore who built it to begin with. I don't know if they left 6 months ago, it's a crisis. I don't know if that's true. You might have some team who builds the software and then hand it over to somebody else. Like maybe you're just going to maintain it now when it's done. So I don't know. I don't think you can expect the original developers to be around forever. So, but I guess this is still interesting with seeing maybe the more like the current developers, how much are they doing? Is it one person who accounts for most work, or yeah? But then also, yeah, everybody are not coding. Like there are different responsibilities often in a team, so all people are not just gonna churn out code all the time. Yeah, there are more responsibilities, so you cannot just measure some person's performance by the number of commits he has done. So yeah. Where do bugs cluster? So you have a long command for that as well. Same shape as the churn command, filtered to commits with bug-related keywords. So yeah, he greps here. Compare this list against the churn hotspots. Files that appear on both are your highest risk code. They keep breaking and keep getting patched, but never get properly fixed. Yeah, that's a good point. So like we saw here with what changes the most. So here people are in a lot in this code, and then we have here where people like fixing bugs, but that also depends a bit on people actually using this actual keywords when making their commit messages. Maybe they are not, I don't know. Oh yeah, as he also says here, this depends on commit messages discipline. If the team writes update stuff for every commit, you will get nothing, but even a rough map of bug density is better than no map. Yeah, it's just something at least. Is this project accelerating or dying? And then you have a command here for that. Commit count by month for the entire history of the repo. I scan the output looking for shapes. A steady rhythm is healthy, but what does it look like when the count drops by half in a single month? Usually someone left. A declining curve over 6 to 12 months tell you the team is losing momentum. Periodic spikes followed by quiet months mean the team batches work into releases instead of shipping continuously. I once showed a CTO their commit velocity chart, and they said, that's when we lost our second senior engineer. They hadn't connected the timeline before. This is team data, not code data. Yeah, I think this kind of makes sense, but yeah, it also depends on what phase are you in. Like, is it before you have developed and shipped, like the first version, and yeah, then you want to keep momentum and be able to push out and release eventually. But if you haven't even released and you have like a deadline and it's already declining, yeah, then it's of course a bad sign. But once you have released, maybe you don't have as much planned work and people are doing other things now. then it's natural. Then you don't want there to be a lot of commits if you're done, and then you shouldn't be needing to do a lot of work anymore. So, but I guess as long as this output correlates with what phase you are in the project, as long as it makes sense, I think this is a good signal as well. How often is the team firefighting? So that's also a command, and he is using grep here as well. Revert and hotfix frequency. A handful over a year is normal. Reverts every couple of weeks mean the team doesn't trust its deploy process. They are evidence of a deeper issue, unreliable tests, missing staging, or a deploy pipeline that makes rollbacks harder than they should be. 0 results is also a signal. Either the team is stable or nobody writes descriptive commit messages. Crisis patterns are easy to read. Either they're there or they're not. So this is like a hot fixes as we see here, and then reverting things that didn't work as intended. I suppose that's always bad if you need to do these things frequently. But I don't know. It also depends on how critical is the software. Maybe it's fine to push and test in production, and you just make a hotfix and release it if something is bad. Not everything is life and death. So this with the deploy process, maybe you intentionally don't have a staging environment and dedicated testers. Maybe it's more pushed prod, and then the customer or user can try immediately, and then you just fix it in the worst case. These things, they don't need to be a huge thing. I think many people are very scared of pushing, and then it just gets delayed until you have tested it enough, and then finally you can release because people are so scared. And I think it's better to just continuously deploy, and if something is wrong, just fix it instead of being so scared of it. So I think these keywords, and if you're able to tell how often the team is firefighting, I think it's a bit about the mindset as well. If you're fine with doing hotfixes, and I think that's more healthy, at least. So it doesn't necessarily need to be something bad, I think, with this one. These 5 commands take a couple of minutes to run. They won't tell you everything, but you will know which code to read first and what to look for when you get there. That's the difference between spending your first day reading the codebase methodologically and spending it wandering. This is the first hour of what I do in a codebase audit. Here's what the rest of the week looks like. Yeah, but that was very good advice. I will try that next time I'm into a new codebase and use this and see what it tells me. But I think there are some caveats to all of these things. It's interesting, but then you also need to know the history of the project and just see if this match with each other. So but very good advice. I haven't seen this before with people really using the Git log to something productive. This was really clever, the commands he have made, I think.